following program on Ada Derana 24 is classified for general audience. It is intended for all ages. It contains little or no violence, no strong language, and little or no sexual dialogue or situations.
Very good evening and thank you for joining us on another episode on Business Best. And as you all know, this is a platform where we showcase the best in the business, and we will be introducing to you people who have excelled in their particular field in order to showcase their latest developments in their respective industry. Now, the past few weeks also we've been touching up on about how people have been morphing into digital currencies and trading in the NFT market and so on. But even though people have been trying to get into trading in the digital currency, has anybody thought about becoming a developer in the Web3? Now that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So with that introduction, I would like to introduce you to Harsha Abegunasekara, who is the CEO and founder of Metana. Harsha, thank you so much for taking the time to join me on the show today.
Thank you very much for having me, Shanali.
All right, Harsha, now I want you to give a small introduction to what Metana is about and the services that you all are providing. But before that, I think we need to explain our viewers a little bit about what Web3 is. Would you be able to do that?
So at Metana, what we do is we train existing software engineers to be blockchain engineers, and we get them hired. Why we need blockchain engineers is now this whole trend is happening in the Web3 space, right? People are building like different decentralized apps, different other decentralized financial apps and all of this stuff. So with this upcoming boom of new innovative products, we need a good supply of developers. And there's a big vacuum from the demand for these developers as well as a supply. So we are fulfilling this need.
So why did you think of starting this business in the first place?
Yeah, it's quite a bit of a very interesting story. So I used to go to medical school, but then I dropped out of medical school to start start a company, but it failed. And then I started another company, and it also failed.
Why did you want to shift from medical school into becoming an entrepreneur?
Yes, it's a bit of a big shift. I also moved out of my parents soon after dropping out of medical school. So the Sri Lankan parents. So it's a bit hard. It was a bit hard for me to live under them and then not listen to them. So it's a bit of a tricky situation. But then again, now things are all good. So after dropping out and starting a couple companies, one failed, two failed. And then I was just buzzing around for a bit, and one of my advisors suddenly told, there's this conference happening in the US in Denver. Why don't you come? And then I quickly just put my financials together and went to Denver, Colorado, and then went to this conference called Eat Denver. There we saw founders were holding boards we are hiring. And developers were so enthusiastic, their enthusiasm to jump into the whole Web3 space was so high. But there was no proper pathway for them to go from to upskill themselves. So then I saw this market gap, and then what I did was I created a website with a waiting list, and people start applying to this course quite a lot, around 300 applications. I was like, wow. Then I put a price tag in it, $5,000, and then people, a student paid. I was like, okay, wow. Then I quickly went and in the meantime, I was talking to instructors, and then I quickly got one of the best instructors on the internet, and then got him to create the curriculum, then vetted the curriculum from my advisors and all the more people who are really good in their sector of expertise in the field, and we started the company. So
How did you gather all the instructors to do this? Because you definitely need qualified people to teach people on development of a software, or, I
yes,
mean, on Web3. So how did you gather these people or specialists?
yes. So I have reached out to every single person on the internet who have marked themselves as a Solidity instructor or a Solidity developer, Solidity tutor, or someone who knows Solidity and who has a teaching background. So it was done in just one night. I like literally sit on my computer and like reach out to 178 people on a single night. Twitter, email, their GitHub links everywhere. And then I started talking to these people like one on one, like so many meetings every day to somehow find this one or two, 1 to 3 people who are really good at like also teaching as well as have the knowledge.
All
So
right.
then I got I have a very good set of advisors in my company. So through them I got them vetted, and then I finalized the instructors. Then
Okay, now coming back to this boot camp, now after training them, you are providing them with a certificate. So where is this certificate valid and recognized?
yeah. So us at Metana, we are building partnerships with all the major Web3 companies. So we have partnerships with QuickNode, Alchemy, Algorand Foundation, and all these companies, right? So they are the pioneers of the Web3. So they trust us. Because of that, we can we can comfortably say you are a Metana certified student. So that's how we give the certification. So someone goes through Metana bootcamp, they become Metana certified, they are Metana certified. It's like
So
that's
what type of jobs or countries that they can look forward to in getting a job?
yeah. So predominantly we are targeting students who are from US, Canada, and Europe. Uh, right now we are targeting those students because they can comfortably afford this price point. But we are like looking at expanding it into Asian region, like especially Sri Lanka. We have a great set of developers in Sri Lanka who are keen to jump into the whole Web3 space. That's what's going to happen. But right now, the developers in the US, Canada, and Europe catering to companies in US, Canada, and Europe. So,
All right, Harsha. So thank you for all of your insights, but we need to discuss further on what Metana is about and the services that you'll provide. But before that, we have to go into a short commercial break. We'll be back soon. You're watching Business Best. Welcome back to Business Best, and we're in discussion with Harsha Abegunasekara, who's the CEO and founder of Metana. Now, Harsha, in the first segment, we left off to the break when we were talking about the recognition of the certificate and also about y'all getting in students from Europe. So, tell me,
US.
why have y'all not morphed into, our locals yet?
yeah, it's a very much of a tricky question, but here's the thing. We Sri Lankans are more followers. If I had to put in a very like a way which anyone can understand, in Sri Lanka we are developing the stocks, the London Stock Exchange, but still our Sri Lankan Stock Exchange is pretty much very primitive. And here in Sri Lanka, we are developing like world class, class softwares, but we don't have world class softwares in Sri Lanka. So we are like in Sri Lanka, like most of the people I talk to, they are just always in the mentality of doing a service to someone, but not to ourselves. And when it comes to technologies, people are very spectacle about taking risks or exploring new technologies and jumping into them, just jingle around a bit and then see whether they can be successful or not. They might not be successful. Still, they are not taking that extra step of risk and going to a new sector before things average down.
So you're telling that our people are pretty much comfortable in being in their comfort zones rather than
Exactly.
taking risks.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Yeah.
All right, but how can you describe the talent here available about the IT knowledge we have here in Sri Lanka?
That's pretty phenomenal. Uh, when we give someone to like do a certain task, they can always get that thing sorted, done. But if it's something to think, then that talent is a bit like low, unfortunately.
Right.
Like people love to do things with when there's a set of like requirements, but not think about the requirements.
Okay, Harsha. Now, how can you describe the popularity of Web3 here locally compared to international nations?
Still, we are not there yet. Like popularity wise, I only saw couple companies here in Sri Lanka who are doing in the whole Web3 space, like Hyperglade, Nifron, and more like couple more companies, maybe a handful of companies. But cryptocurrencies are pretty popular in Sri Lanka, it seems. But cryptocurrency is like a very small part of the whole Web3 blockchain space. So we have a lot to grow, have a
Okay.
lot to explore.
So tell me more about this bootcamp now, Harsha. How many people do you have at the moment?
Yeah, so far 36 students have gone through the boot camp. Oh, like around 12 are already in the boot camp, and per month we onboard up to 5 to 8 students every cohort. We have monthly cohorts, so yeah.
All right. Something interesting which I saw on your website is you all have guaranteed that if you all follow the course, the boot camp from Metana, that you all assure a job. And
Yeah.
if not, you all are going to return the whole tuition fee.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what
Yes.
assurance do you have? How confident are you in this?
Yeah. So we are so confident in our program and our curriculum and the way we deliver our curriculum that anyone who goes through our program will be an expert in a level that they are a senior blockchain engineer. We can't call them a senior blockchain engineer because to be a senior blockchain engineer they need to have like years, like couple years of experience, like at least 2 years of experience, but their knowledge will be almost the same. So with someone having this level of knowledge, and if they can't get a job, I don't think that's existent in the market because companies are hiring and founders are pretty desperate for like developers, and if they find someone this good, they'll definitely hire. So far, our success rate is almost 100%. There are students who went from jobs that paid $80,000 to $200,000. And I saw another student raised $4.5 million for his startup. So he joined Metana to upskill himself, and he built a Web3 company. So yeah, there are like examples like this. So
Basically, there's a huge demand for developers in the
Yeah.
international market.
Exactly.
Is it?
Exactly.
So now, if people or students want to join this bootcamp, how can they do so, and how do they know that they are eligible to study this? Because I don't think any layman, will be able to learn about Web3 in just 4 months. So, what are the criteria that you all have in order to select your students?
Okay,
to
I
join the camp?
believe anyone can start learning. Anyone can learn. But at Metana, we we need to think in a more of a business way as well, right? So as for that reason, we are onboarding people who has 2+ years of experience as a software engineer, and then we upskill them. But I personally believe like anyone and everyone who wants to learn something, there are enough and plenty resources on the internet for you to start that journey. Like if you are totally new to like the whole the development space and like being a developer, you can start off with crypto zombies or Ethernets, and there are these free resources, build space, and then start your Web3 journey.
How would you describe your journey as an entrepreneur, Harsha? Because you started this last year and already you have a dozen of students. So how has it been going so far?
It's very challenging, but if you actually take challenges in a very fun way, this is quite a bit of a fun this thing. So, like with my previous startup, Help.lk, there were times that I paid salaries and I did not have money to go home. And at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, I walked from Fort, my office, to home in Battaramulla. Uh, but even that experience, it's like I put my AirPods on and listening to audiobook. So it's an exercise for me as well as a learning, listening to a book. So anything and everything, if you see it in the bright side, it's always bright. So running a company is a bit sometimes it's very hard, but it's not that hard if you actually enjoy the process. So last night I was working until 1 o'clock, but it's like, fun stuff. Like, you are building something for you and like for the people who you work with, your team. Like when you think of this, the whole entire system that you're building and it's growing, you feel so good. It's
All right, so
so
basically, if you're
satisfying.
enjoying what you're doing, it gives you the kick to move on.
Oh my God, yes.
All right, so being in this Web3 development field and coming into this IT field also, what are the main challenges you face so far? Now, you being a startup also, which just started up last year, what were the main challenges that you faced?
Mainly, people can say you have all these challenges, but if you think of a way, you actually don't have challenges. Challenges are there to push you. So yeah, not like people can say like you have all these tax challenges to that challenges. It's like that's the nature of doing business. So
So you think more people will be enrolling with Metana for this bootcamp?
oh yeah, we get like over 100 plus applications every month now. So out of 100, we accept 5 to 6 students. We are planning on doing parallel cohorts every month as well. So the market is pretty big. So we are flying to Eid Denver next month, a couple of my teammates and me. And then there are around 30,000 Web3 engineers and Web3 enthusiasts come to this conference. So we are now looking at building 2 additional products from Metana, like Metana Certified and Metana Testing. So with these new products and all of this stuff,
What are these 2
it's
products?
like very exciting. Yeah, so Metana Certified, like right now we are making someone Metana Certified if they go through the program, right? So we are going to open up this Metana certification for external people so they can come and like do a proctored exam and be certified as a pro blockchain engineer. So they can be like, I'm Metana certified. And companies who we work with will like always accept this certification because they trust us. We can pass the trust through us to these developers.
Right. So Harsha, is Metana the only business that provides the development side to Web3 here in Lanka?
In Sri Lanka, yes. Globally, we are I think the only bootcamp that trains someone to be expert Solidity engineers. There are so many education companies such as BuildSpace, Learn Web3 DAO, Crypto Zombies, and all these like companies are there to bring people to the Web3 space, but we are taking them a step ahead.
So this is basically like a specialized certificate?
Yes, this is like to make you an expert in the industry. So we are also planning on like expanding into AI, ML, cybersecurity also. Not bringing people into this like sectors, but making someone really, really good at what they are doing and what they want to do.
All right. So from your website, what more can people learn from Metana? Not just becoming developers, but what more?
I would say like our blog covers all like so many topics in the whole Web3 industry, like NFTs to trading to more of like just day-to-day life hacks and stuff like that in the whole Web3 space. So yeah, pretty much everything, and like I personally help anyone and everyone who comes my way and ask for advice or anything like that. Just yeah, I want more people to come into the whole Web3 space. And
How can you describe the future of Web3? Do you think that there'll be an uptick in demand here in Sri Lanka also for Web3?
yes, definitely. So yesterday I saw this whole new bill passed to the government will allow cryptocurrencies in the whole port city area and stuff. So usually the nature of the cryptocurrencies, it's like the government can't do much about all the cryptocurrencies, but government coming and supporting it means a lot for people. So as I mentioned, like people are very spectacle in Sri Lanka, right? So if they see, oh, government is also like supporting, okay, then now it's a bit of a boom. So now they'll feel more comfortable,
Yes.
just going into the space.
They have an assurance.
Yes, exactly. So because of that, I feel like the market is pretty much very growing, and people are being very excited, and so many use cases. And
Okay, Harsha, we are
opportunities,
coming to
yeah.
the end of our program also. Just before we end, would you tell me what your vision is from Metana?
So right now, our mission will, the vision for the company will be to bring new products to the market. So Metana testing and Metana certified are right now the vision. But building companies is a very tricky thing where you try one thing and most of the things fail. And it's okay to fail. So even though our vision right now is to build certification platforms or testing platforms or stuff, 5 months down the line or 6 months down the line, our vision will be totally different. But that vision is also good as the vision we have right now. So building companies is all about like understanding it's okay to fail.
All right, Harsha. Then I wish you all the very best with Metana also.
Thank you
This
very
is all the
much.
time we have on the show, unfortunately. Thank you so much again for taking the time to share your insight on this.
Thank you very much, Natalie.
And that was our episode on Business Best this week. We will be back again next week with another product or service that would interest you. Just in case you couldn't watch us on air, you can always rewatch by catching us on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Derana English. I'm Suzanne Shanali. Stay safe and have a good night.